Giles.
Good shot from Du Plessis. He was signed to another organization. Oh!
Dricus du Plessis hits like a truck.
Just kind of poking at him with that jab.
And squeezes as powerful as a Titanoboa,
Du Plessis looking for a footlock.
giving him the reputation of an ultimate finisher, with an astonishing 95% of his fights not reaching the final bell. His focus is now on the UFC middleweight title, eager to prove to the Nigerian native, Israel Adesanya, who is the real king of the savannah. After going 10-1 as a pro, Du Plessis was matched against Yannick Bahati with the UFC middleweight title on the line in a fight that some would call the most intense rivalry in UFC history. Bahati's most significant shot took place at the press conference before the power slap competition was even a thing. Nonetheless, the South African did not even flinch, since he had his say in the cage when he squeezed Yannick's neck as if he was trying to take his head home with him.
That's a wrap. Trying to hold on. Du Plessis is squeezing for all his worth. And he gets it!
After winning the most prestigious MMA title in Africa, Dricus was determined to display his talent overseas when he was granted a shot at the KSW welterweight title in a promotion based in Poland. He was welcomed by the reigning champion Roberto Soldic, a former boxer and a knockout machine that rarely leaves it in the judges' hands.
Just waiting to opportunity here in terms of softening him up there.
After a competitive first round, the South African challenged the boxer in his own game and delivered a picture-perfect lead left hook.
Soldic again looking for that left. Oh, he got rocked.
That served as a torpedo, sinking the Soldic ship.
Oh, he got rocked. Down goes the champion with a big shot that came from nowhere.
The two were scheduled for a rematch.
Oh, that was a nice left hand. Dangerous shots, and he's firing them in now. Du Plessis in trouble, up against the wire. Dricus has got to start moving more. Oh no, that was a slip, and he goes for the takedown.
And this time, the Croatian had the last laugh.
The deck. He's got the same cards. He's just shuffled it and deployed it. Just waiting to opportune himself. That big left hand. Oh, and that was a left.
While Du Plessis took that loss as a learning experience to improve. In the following year, Still Knox made a quick return to Africa to defend his UFC middleweight title and remind the continent who is the real king of the jungle. In a fight against Brendan Lassar, an undefeated prospect from South Africa, Du Plessis pulled off another guillotine choke.
Oh, he's got it. Oh, there it is. Trying to go. He slapped it on.
He's got it!
He's done it.
On October 11, 2020, the South African was welcomed to the big league by Marcus Perez, a Muay Thai specialist with crafty submission skills.
Would be the key, and he does some real serious damage here to the body on uppercut. Oh, Perez answered.
It's very tight, Blake. It may be it. It may be it. There's a tap.
The Tong Po look-alike entered the bout confidently.
It's brought to you by Modelo.
Taking the center of the octagon in an attempt to pressure Dricus against the cage.
Nice feint. That's a big.
While Dricus kept retaliating with counter shots.
He's a little anxious right now. It's the debut, so you got to calm.
Du Plessis needed no more than a round to pick up the pace.
What's it like to finally, after so many...
The third round. I've never felt that in my life.
And take the initiative in his hands when he pressured the Brazilian with a combo.
And he's already breathing heavy as well. The difference with Du Plessis is he was signed to another organization. Oh!
That made him kiss the canvas. By dismantling the opponent within a round, Dricus put all the UFC on notice that there was a new sheriff in town emerging. Still Knox kept the momentum the following year when he faced Trevin Giles, a formidable contender with notable victories over Ryan Spann.
Nice throw. Beautiful takedown from
James Krause,
Excellent jab.
and Roman Dolidze.
There he is again.
That's what he needs, but he's got to stay on.
The American took the Wonder Boy-style stance as a countermeasure against the superior kickboxer.
UFC now, we're fans before.
Giles was poking the bear with a stick by keeping his hands down. Being overly confident against a guy who could shut his lights off with one punch. Du Plessis used his wrestling to neutralize the opponent.
Du Plessis Very smart to switch to a single.
and ended the round in a dominant position.
First the position because Trevin has did a good job of going back to his back.
Reminding Giles that South Africans can wrestle too. Still, Knox gave the American the false sense of security that he could attack him at will without receiving severe consequences.
Oh, nice knee to the body by Trevin. Strong knee to the body.
And then he made him pay the price for keeping his hands low by landing a Sarbama right hand.
Oh, there we go, good job.
Good shot.
With consequent ground and pound shots, making the referee jump with a comforting hug. After demolishing his first two opponents, it was time for a tough challenge, and the fighter who was courageous enough to step in was Brad Tavares, a prominent UFC veteran who has been trading shots in the organization since 2011.
Hey, stop.
Tavares knocks Jocko down!
Good right hand by Tavares. He's in two. Baroni's in big trouble.
In the first round, the American, just to make things clear, landed a short right hand. Du Plessis switched to his wrestling and attempted a throw from the clinch,
He tried a lateral drop.
which did not go the way he thought it would.
In half guard.
Inexperienced.
After reversing the position,
Head position on that cage.
Du Plessis almost standing.
the South African went after Tavares recklessly and paid the price by almost going to sleep early that night.
Tavares hurt him.
The second round started with a vicious knee that rocked the American.
Oh, big shots by Tavares. Tavares might have rocked him there.
Du Plessis took a more cautious approach and switched to his fundamental boxing,
Good spinning back fist again.
tagging Brad's face with more shots than what 50 Cent received, culminating with an inside short left hand
To Brad. Another.
that almost made Tavares do the chicken dance. The South African kept the momentum in the third by landing clean boxing combos.
The best's mouth is still wide open. Maybe that's just how he fights. You can land that elbow, man.
Resulting in Tavares returning home a different-looking man that night. Although still Knox did not get the finish, he proved to everyone that he can take a punch and keep coming hard like Michael Myers. On December 10th, 2022, Dricus got the biggest name up to that point when he was scheduled to square off against Darren Till, a former title challenger with notable victories over Donald Cerrone,
Into it first. You know, he's oh, Darren Till. Cowboys turned away from his opponent.
Stephen Thompson,
There it is, Till is on top and trying to hammer away.
and Kelvin Gastelum.
Nice time double leg.
The South African needed no more than a minute to change level and take Till to the ground,
I try to keep my mouth open to breathe.
Look at this takedown.
where he hammered his head like a blacksmith forging a new sword.
Plessis taking the fight to the ground, trying to make these ground.
It got worse for the Englishman when Dricus took his back,
On top of him. Darren Till's terrible for Darren Till.
And they're controlling that left.
and squeezed his face like a python in an attempt to get the submission.
Now Du Plessis getting the joint.
Plessis under the neck.
Although Darren looked better in the second round, implementing his stand-up game,
That is just how he breathes.
Beautiful. Oh my goodness.
the Du Plessis fortress was hard to penetrate.
Strong.
Oh, beautiful job of the butterfly.
After executing a beautifully timed takedown,
Du Plessis.
still Knox finished that round dominantly. The third round could hardly be called a salvation for Till, as Dricus took him down again and squeezed his face to unbearable pain, forcing the Liverpudlian to tap and save his face bones from cracking.
For Du Plessis. He got it. He got it.
The following year, Dricus got the well-deserved ranked opponent, Derek Brunson, a superior wrestler and a top contender with notable victories over elites like Uriah Hall,
Oh, that's it! Derek Brunson!
Lyoto Machida,
He's moving in. He's following up. It's over. Derek.
Kevin Holland,
Squeeze.
He's wild.
and Darren Till.
Brunson.
The 10-year gap in experience became evident early in the first when Brunson caught Dricus' leg.
Oh, Derek got the leg. He's got him down.
Nevertheless, still Knox managed to reverse
Du Plessis really struggling.
and get to a guard position.
So far. I like what he's doing.
where he started landing ground and pound shots.
Where you see a guy do something that's
They had back and forth wrestling reversals throughout the round.
good luck.
In MMA. But what Derek is going for is more devastating.
He's on a bad angle to try to finish this, though.
That took most of their gas tanks.
Yep, beautiful.
But in the second, Du Plessis looked like the slightly fresher fighter.
That was a really good switch low kick.
Unlike the first, the second round was a stand-up exchange.
Does not like that.
He does not. Left hands when he had him hurt. Oh, but Du Plessis does it as well.
Where the South African was getting the better of Brunson. In the closing minute of the round, the American looked like a wounded animal trying to escape the predator.
Oh, look at this!
After landing a few clean shots that dropped Derek to the ground,
Right hand gets through for Du Plessis.
Du Plessis is real.
Dricus used the momentum and went for the kill, ultimately finishing the opponent by brutally bouncing his head to the canvas with sledgehammers.
Big shot.
Dricus still not.
After almost committing murder in the octagon the last time he fought, Du Plessis was matched against Robert Whittaker, the former champion and one of the most feared competitors in the middleweight division.
Corks, perfectly timed combinations. Look out again. The Whittaker
Retracing down.
Yeah.
Oh, he goes down with a knee.
Man, oh! 2 early knockdowns for Whittaker. Tavares is gone.
After delivering a short jab,
Let's see.
Nice jab and a right hand from Robert.
the Australian changed levels and executed a picture-perfect takedown,
Not be traditional.
challenging Du Plessis where his forte lies, showing him why he has been a top contender for years. However, the South African was eager to prove all the doubters wrong, and in the closing minute of the round, he performed a beautiful takedown of his own. Although Robert is known for his solid grappling defense skills, the remaining seconds of the round were a one-sided pounding.
This is huge. Absolutely huge.
And Dricus was the one swinging the hammer.
Big round. Dricus du Plessis.
The moment that shocked the MMA world arrived in the second round when Still Knox landed a powerful jab
He stunned him.
that penetrated Whittaker's defense. The Australian was badly hurt and tried to survive the onslaught, but Du Plessis went after Robert violently, like Kratos entering his Spartan rage mode. That was a performance masterpiece that immediately launched Dricus' name to the title picture. In the previous 7 months, Du Plessis has had 3 fights, and despite a foot injury, he accepted all the proposed challenges. Immediately after the victory over Whittaker, the South African Fury managed to greet the former U.S. president
Donald Trump.
and challenged the reigning UFC middleweight champion. At stake was not only the title, but also which of the two is the alpha lion of the African savannah. Heavy punches,
Oh, and a big right hand.
destructive kicks,
Oh, he let.
and overwhelming wrestling. That's what Du Plessis has to offer his opponents in the UFC. The ruthless South African wants to keep his country's flag high and guarantees blood and entertainment to all those who love this wonderful sport. If you like this video and want to see more quality content, smash the subscribe button, kick the like button, and overhand that notification bell.